folks. Welcome back to the Field and Garden Podcast. It is your friend, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and thanks so much for taking a moment with me today. And I'm talking about a subject that is near and dear to me. It's seed starting, right? I was such a struggling seed starter so many years ago when I got on the trail of really the black and white facts of seed starting. You know, it really helped me. And I feel so compelled and led to do that for other people. So today I am sharing the truth about seed starting. And that may have been very intriguing to you, but it might be surprising because, in fact, the truth that I want folks to realize is that seed starting is more than early in the season. I don't know how to say that because if people all over the world listen to this podcast. And so what is right now, this is Valentine's Day, in fact, is when I am recording this. So it's mid-February. And I will tell you that January and February and March is when people just dive into seed starting like no other time of the year. Hands down, I know this as a teacher of seed starting, and I know this as the owner of a retail business that sells seeds and seed starting supplies. There is no other time of the year that is as there's as much interest as there is in seed starting right now. But here's the truth, friends, that many of us, a lot of us, can really almost start seeds year-round. Almost year-round, noticed I said. But I have some points that I want to just talk about for just a moment about why it is we all think that this is the time of the year to start seeds, when in fact that is not really totally true for many of us. First off, I want to share that Tucker has just started chewing on his nylabone if you hear odd noises in the background. But the reality is this dog is always at my feet. So what has led us to believe that starting seeds early before the season even begins is the only time to start seeds? Because that, in fact, is what most people think. They think that once they miss this window of, for me, here, January, February, and March, that is too late. I mean, we hear it all day long. Is it too late for me to start my seeds? Is it too late to start? I mean, on all levels of communication, whether it's social media, DMs, messenger, emails to the office, people I meet on the street, literally. All of this came about because of marketing, y'all. Marketing of retailers showing us the goods long before it's time, because they, of course, want to sell through it and move on to the next product. And this has led us to believe that when the retailers are out of whether it's a seed or seed equipment or what have you, that when it's sold out, that it must, in fact, be too late. We've missed our chance of opportunity. And that, in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, that's really the reality. And marketing, and I understand why retailers do that, because now people are trained in this method of this, and people assume it's too late, and then they stop purchasing after this preconceived idea that's been sowed in their head. So that's how we got to where we are. It's kind of been an evolution the last decades of us starting earlier and earlier, which led the retailers to getting them earlier and earlier, or whichever way that goes, right? And we now think, once seeds are sold out or the frost date has passed, the last frost date has passed, that it's just too late. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. Because here it is. Once you kind of dip your toe into the seed starting thing and actually learn a little bit more about it other than just trying to start some seeds and going on about your business, you may find out that you can, in fact, like me, almost start seeds 12 months out of the year, meaning there's different seeds to be started at different times. And for me, literally here in the Mid-Atlantic, I'm in zone 8A, 7B, and my last spring frost is like mid-April, and my first fall frost is mid-November. And what that says is that literally, as long as my ground is not frozen solid outside, I can keep starting seeds inside and planting out. I don't always elect to do that, but it is an option. And what folks don't understand is that there's two types of annuals that we're talking about. Cool season hardy annuals, we're talking about cool flowers. Those are flowers like snapdragon, sweet peas, bells of Ireland. And in vegetables, lettuces, radishes, all the greens, broccoli, cauliflower, all those prefer and thrive in cool to cold weather. We almost all try to plant them at the wrong time, trying to plant them in spring when we're headed into the heat and humidity. So that's one group. The other is warm season tender annuals. Those are the ones most people know about because they're the most popular. Those are the ones like zinnias and sunflowers that are warm. We plant them when summer comes. And tomatoes and basil. That's the other kind. Well, y'all, when you step back and look at those two groups, many of us can plant much longer into the season and after the season than we ever dreamed. So here's some of the gifts of embracing this truth about seed starting. First off, you relieve the pressure from yourself. That means, because this is what I see people do. I mean, I can't share with you how often this happens. And it's really sad, is the pressure we put on ourselves to start a ton of seeds really earlier than they probably should be started. And then that just kind of sets into motion an unsuccessful evolution of what's about to come. And it fails, and it just is like the saddest thing ever. When we embrace that there's no rush to start seeds, that we can really start seeds for a longer period of time, and for some of us, almost all of the time, it takes the pressure off to overdo it now, right? Then this also stretches it out. It stretches out the work. It stretches out think about this. One of the number one, desires that people express to me is that they don't ever have enough seedling heat mat space or seedling heat mat grow light space, meaning I call it the real estate, the space you have on those two items. Y'all, this is the secret. This is you stretch it out. And I will tell you what we call it around here. We call it starting the seed starting freight train. That means that you don't start them all at once. You start a habit. Whether that's every Monday you start some seeds, put them on the heat mat, and then during that next week, some of them take longer, they sprout, you move them from the heat to the grow light, and guess what? You have more room on your heat mat to start more. It just makes this so much more enjoyable, y'all. When you pace yourself, you will enjoy it. This seedling freight train can work whether you're a home gardener starting 20 seeds or a commercial flower farmer starting 1,000 each week. We all have setups that need to fit what our need is. And, the other thing I wanted to say was embracing this and doing a little setup, meaning the seedling heat mat and a grow light in a room that's, got the right controlled temperature for all of this to work and grow amazingly healthy little seedlings. Y'all, it just sets you up for success and enjoyment. And it is just, I will tell you this, that all this I just described to you is what we have the fancy name for. It's called succession planting. This is how it has always been done in the past until we all got this sense of urgency that we've got to do it now. There is definitely that urge that we want to get the earliest tomato or the earliest zinnia bloom, and you can still do that, but you don't have to go all in out of the gate. You go a little in to get that early reward, and you continue that reward. And that is called succession planting. And that means you spread out the work, you spread out, you have backup if disease or a storm or something happens to one of your plantings. Doesn't matter how little or big your space is. All of this can apply. This means that you enjoy life with a garden instead of becoming a slave to that garden. And it's just taking baby bites, y'all. I just can't even share with you how this is the secret of successful gardening, successful farming, enjoying it, loving it instead of having it be a burden and to have that pressure. Let those boulders roll off your shoulders, friends. If you want to learn more about that fancy word we have for it, succession planting, but how to live with a garden and embrace this starting in the moment. And I tell you something else this relieves you of. You are never too late. You are never behind. When you say you're starting today, you look at what can be started today. You don't think about the things from yesterday that you thought you should have already started, but you missed. There are always seeds to be started. And when you embrace that, it just liberates you. My book, Vegetables Love Flowers, which is really about a 3-season cutting garden, is the point of that book is to share the benefit that flowers offer vegetables, meaning all of the creatures and the beneficial insects that they invite in and the pollinators and just all of the good stuff that flowers bring to a garden, which are required to grow organically, by the way. But the book really walks you through succession planting and how I do it, and it has diagrams even in the back. So friends, if you want to learn more, pick up a copy of Vegetables Love Flowers. I would adore personalizing one for you, which you can request when you check out on our store at thegardenersworkshop.com. So friends, check out my website. We have a great learning center that is packed with resources, online courses, how to seed start if that's what your problem is, but there's a little bit of that also in Vegetables Love Flowers. So friends, until we meet again, remember, you now know the truth about seed starting. You don't have to start them all right now. Pace yourself. Live with a garden. Don't be a slave to it. Baby bites. Ciao.